Hey guys, Sean Zim, the host for the Network Marketing Insider, where I bring on network, affiliate, multi-level marketers, where they share their story, talk about trials and tribulations, some of the processes that might work, some of the tools that they should be using, maybe not using. But also, I want you to learn something. I want you to gain some value. I want you to also take action. If you're learning and not taking action, you're wasting your time. So if you're listening to us on any of the verticals on the audio side, please give us a review at the end. And don't forget, go to the description, reach out to my guests. All their information's there. And if you're watching from the website or YouTube, please drop a comment where you're watching from. Hit like, comment, and share so we can help more people out in this world. Learn from, instead of saying it's a pyramid scheme, it's a myth, you can't make money. It's completely false. And I want to share, I have a treat for you guys. We have Brian Carruthers with us today. What's up, Brian?
How are you? Getting some moving the room around while you're doing the intro. Good to see you, man.
That's all. Hey, multitasking when we have to, it's good. And I want to share with people, friends on Facebook, I took a shot. I said, hey, Brian, I think I engaged one of your posts. And I'm like, I engaged. And I said, would you like to be on my podcast? And he's like, sure, let's set it up. And I'm like, a lot of people say, oh, nobody does stuff like this. Look at what we can do if you just take a shot, take a chance. But people don't want to take chances, right, Brian?
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take, for sure.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I always ask my guests to kind of introduce themselves. How would you introduce yourself when you're meeting someone for the first time?
I am a big proponent of wealth building and entrepreneurship. And so if people ask me what I do for a living or what excites me in my life, I like to help people to figure out how to get unstuck. As a matter of fact, I've got one of my books that I wrote in 2019 called Untrapped, Freedom Manifesto, Become an Entrepreneur to Escape the Grind and Find Freedom and Happiness. So that's my calling. And I tell my story. You know, I was stuck in a real estate career, grinding it out 7 days a week. If I didn't sell a house, I didn't get paid. So living with that semi fear every day of, you know, when's the next sale going to happen? When I discovered entrepreneurship, specifically through the network marketing model, you know, a whole different world was opened up to me. You know, it was amazing to realize that there is a way to create a life that is not built on scarcity, not built on stress and fear. And, the untrapped component of it, you know, everybody says, Sean, that they want time freedom, but you can't have time freedom unless you're financially free, because if you have to keep on giving away your time to get new money, because everybody always will need new money to pay for bills. If you have to keep giving away time, you'll never be able to be free, because you got to keep giving the time away. And so I have people say, Brian, I'm not trapped because I love what I do. Okay, you love what you're trapped in. If you stop doing what you love, your income's going to go to zero. You're like, oh, okay, that makes sense. People say, Brian, I'm not trapped. I make $1 million a year doing what I do. Okay, you're paid well for being trapped. But if you stop doing what you're paid so well for, it'll go from $1 million to zero. So you're still trapped. Like, okay, it makes sense. So, you know, Warren Buffett said the only way to you know, if you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you're going to work until you die. And so, you know, with the untrapped concept, you have to build business assets that will pay you when you're not having to work for the money. And that's the way you get untrapped. That's the way you get financial time freedom. And so, you know, I've been doing network marketing now for 31 years, 27 years full time as of a couple of weeks ago. And I've worked with hundreds of thousands of people. In my own organization has grown to over 420,000 people. And so working with a lot of people with a lot of different scenarios. Everybody's got a need. Everybody's got a problem they're looking to solve. And, you know, a lack of time, a lack of money, a lack of fulfillment, a lack of challenge, you know, they got something that they want to solve for, which is why they start a business in network marketing. And unfortunately, Sean, as you well know, this world is full of starters, but not that many finishers. So, you know, my hope is that people that follow you or others that are staunch supporters and believers in the network marketing model. I hope that everybody that watching right now, listening, I hope that you are in a business like this. I hope that you stay in it, that you stop looking right and left, stay focused on the decision that you made. You know, Warren Buffett said not long ago, I actually said it plenty of times, probably many years ago, the time to fret about an investment is not after you bought the stock. You investigate it, you fret, you stress about it, you worry about it, you look it up and down and sideways before you pull the trigger to buy the stock. Once you bought it, you made your decision. So the same thing in starting a business. You look it up and down and sideways, figure out if it's the right decision for you, and then once you decide and pull the trigger, stick to your guns. Stay with it. See it through. I've been in the same network marketing company for 27 straight years now.
Amazing.
I'm not looking
amazing.
right and left. I don't need another opportunity. I'm going to build the business that I decided to build.
Now, Brian was saying he's been in the business for 31 years. Brian, what was the first 4 years like?
I was learning a lot, not earning a lot, but I was learning. I was going to events every week. I went to a weekly business meeting every week. I went to a Super Saturday in that company. We had a Saturday meeting every Saturday, and I was going. I was committed. I learned a lot about what works and what doesn't work. I learned what works from people that I watched having it work, but it wasn't necessarily working for me. I learned what doesn't work because all the stuff I was not getting results from, obviously it was not working. So 3 years in that company. And again, I discovered personal development. I learned all about the business model. I gained so much from it. So that way, when the next opportunity came along, which is a company I'm in now, I applied what I had learned. So people say, Brian, how much money did you make when you first got started in Legal Shield? I'm like, well, my first year I made $248,000 working that business, but I had 3.5 years before that of preparation. So the preparation met with the right opportunity, and that's when the explosion happened. And so all the personal development, everything that I did ahead of time, people need to know there's always a backstory. Nobody gets into network marketing and makes 6 figures their first year. It just doesn't happen unless they've done a lot of personal work on themselves and maybe on their following, on their credibility, on their influence to be able to have that many people join them that quickly to create that kind of income.
You have to fail. Everyone has to fail, but also reflect, learn, and then hopefully not make the same mistakes again. But Brian, you see it all the time, the shiny object syndrome. Oh, this company has better comps plan. Oh, this is a better product. You've been in something for 27 years. What made you stay early on?
Well, it's easy to stay when you're making money. And I was making money right away, and I never didn't make money. You know, I went from 248 to 500 and some to, you know, within 6 years, I was at $1 million a year, and now I'm multiple millions a year. So it's easy to stay when you're making money. But even along the way, I had plenty of distractions and discouragements. And, my number 2 guy, quit and left and started another company with my mentor. So I've had a lot of things that I've had to weather some storms. Even when you're making money, there still will be rain and there will be sunny days. All that will happen. But, I bought into the mission of my company. I made the business I made the company my company. I didn't own it. It was a public company. I bought some shares in it on the open market, but I wasn't the founder. It wasn't all my company, but I made it. In my heart, it was my company. And I treated it like it was my baby. And so nobody was going to talk about my baby bad. Nobody's going to, try to wreck my baby. And I was going to see it through. And so, I think that's important for anybody to know that when your business is working, even when you don't see it working, you don't think it's working. When you plant a seed 6 inches into the ground for weeks and sometimes months, you don't see it poke through. It's still working. It's still soaking up nutrients and water, and it's germinating. And then when the time comes at the right time for that particular seed, it will poke through, and then you'll see a plant. and then maybe even a tree, and then it'll bear fruit. So as long as you're doing enough of the right things consistently, your business is working. I had a friend of mine who's famously said inside of our company, if you're not getting the results that you want, you're not doing the right things, or you're not doing enough of the right things. And I just add in consistently. Consistency is everything. It's not 7 apples on Sunday keeps the doctor away. It's an apple a day keeps the doctor away. So you got to be consistent. And if you're not willing to be consistent, look, you're consistently going to a job every day that's not getting you anywhere, right? So why not be consistent about your business? At least do 2 exposures a day, at least get 2 people a day to check out information, even if it's only 5 or 10 minutes of effort. People, if you're not willing to spend, let's just call it 20 minutes at minimum every day to build your dream, to get your why accomplished, then you have no right to complain about the lack of results that you're not getting, right? You got to, it's on you. Like the business works for people who work it consistently.
And like what Brian was saying, his number 2 guy left. A lot of people would get into their head. Goes back to personal development. I like to say that you're going to become comfortable being uncomfortable. Do the things that others don't want to do, that you don't want to do, don't want to try, but try it and watch what happens. You'll have growth. You might fail, but you'll learn while you're doing your process. This is a journey that we're all on. I like and I love the personal development piece. Brian got into writing books. I mean, you're a businessman. How did you go into like writing books? A lot of times it takes a lot of time, right?
Well, there was I was filling a need. Like I wanted a full manual on how to build a network marketing business. It didn't exist. I mean, the only books that I knew of were like The First Year in Network Marketing by Mark Yarnell. And John K. Lynch had a book. There's like a few people that had a book, but it was like about the industry, about the model, but it was never like an ABC 1, 2, 3 paint by numbers. Here's how to go out and build it from scratch to 7 figures. So that's why when I wrote this book, it said, what's the tagline at the bottom? Building an empire, the most complete blueprint to building a massive network marketing business. That didn't exist, so I had to write it. It took me 1.5 years to write it. And when I thought the book was done, and I was getting ready to send it over to my editor, a couple of days later, I went out and did a meeting, or I had an experience in my business. I'm like, oh, I don't have a chapter about that in the book. So I write another chapter. And then I'm sitting there writing that chapter. I'm like, oh, I got another chapter that just popped into my head. So I write 2 chapters that night. And then a week goes by, and then I do another meeting, or I have another situation to happen. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's not in the book. So it took me 1.5 years of those epiphanies to finally get to a place where after a month or 2, I'm like, nothing else is popping into my head. Like there's nothing missing. So that's when I wrote the book and launched it in 2012. And then during COVID, you have to move with the cheese. So during COVID, a lot of things happened. We had, all of a sudden we're doing Zooms. There was no Zoom back in the day. So we had different apps and sending out video links and stuff like that. So back when I was doing it, was videotapes and conference calls. So a lot of things changed. So I added 9 new chapters. That's why there's a next level edition. So a few years ago, I launched the new version, which everybody needs to make sure they read that, because there's 9 chapters that are relevant right now that are not in the previous first edition. But all to say, I can help people in my own company. They got access to me. They can come to my events. They get on my calls or whatever. But I wanted to help the industry at large. There's millions of network marketers out there that represent people with dreams, with families that are counting on them to succeed, that need the money, that need the time freedom and so forth. So that's why I went generic with my books, my training programs. I got training programs I've created on time management, on top recruiter secrets for how to be the best recruiter. I've recruited almost 2,000 people personally. And so there's a right way to recruit that's not only worked, but it's duplicatable. I've created my good friend Darnell Self and I did a training for 5 hours called the Network Marketing Leadership Academy. Basically 5 hours of how to become a great leader in this specific business model. I've had many, many friends that are 7-figure earners around the industry that have watched that training and said that is the best leadership training they've ever seen in our industry. which is very nice to hear, of course.
Yeah.
But anyway, my most recent book, I had two of them that I released in the last year. This is a booklet, Got Game, supercharge your chances of success, of achieving success in anything. I was speaking in Chicago about 2 years ago now, and I was getting on the elevator to go downstairs to the event. This acronym popped into my brain, GAME, GAME, which stands for Great Associations, Mentors, and Environment. And it popped into my head because the guy who's going to interview me downstairs said he was going to ask me about questions like, what do you attribute your success to in this business? How have you made over $20 million? And I'm thinking, okay, what will be my answer? Well, I had the associations, I had the mentors, I had an environment. I'm like, I had a great associations, I had great mentors, I had great environment. So, I came up with Got Game. And I'm not talking about got game on the golf course or at a basketball court. I'm talking about you got to have game. And that's what network marketing provides. You get around people that are successful entrepreneurs that you can model yourself after, be like. You get around 5 broke people, you're bound to be the 6. Get around 5 millionaires, you're bound to be the 6. Getting around great mentors. I mean, who can afford?
Yep.
How can you find or how can you afford good mentors? Well, the network marketing model pays mentors to help you. Your upline top leaders that are above you in the organization, the company will give them an override on all the money that you make. So it's a perfect true alignment that does not exist in any other business model. And then the environment that I found in network marketing, where it's all about personal development. It's all about people cheering for you, people that want success for you. They're not jealous of. Well, sometimes they can be a little jealous, but that's not. But they want you to win. They know if you win, it means they're next. So having game is so important. And so I wrote this as a recruiting book. I've got people all over the industry that are ordering these things by the 100 pack at $1 a piece, so they can go give this out. If somebody reads about getting game, and then the person can say, let me show you our business and how you'll get game by joining us. It's a great recruiting tool. And then what I was getting at, and I don't want this to be all about books, but everything I do and teach is I put it in book form because I can't be everywhere. And what if something happens to me? I don't want all this information to go to the grave. But exit interviews, why people quit network marketing and how to create a culture that nobody wants to leave. I interviewed a few hundred people to ask them why they quit network marketing. Some of them were in my company, some of them were in other companies. And I wanted to know what are the common reasons. And I found there were 35 common ones that had more than 2 people that said, this is why I'm done. And I put it in the book. And I didn't say, here are the 35 reasons why people are quitting. Good luck. I said, here are the reasons why they quit. And here's what you can do to solve for this so that people stop quitting on your team for that reason. And if leaders or if anybody wants to keep their team from quitting, they should read exit interviews so they can get better and solve for those issues. And frankly, if everybody in the organization reads the book, when they themselves think about quitting, they'll remember what I wrote in the book and realize that is not a good reason to quit and that it can be solved for and you can overcome it. So I think we can lessen the attrition in our business and in your company, my company. We can help people not give up on their dreams so easily.
So at this point in your career, do you anticipate retiring, or are you as hungry? Is that fire inside still really bright?
I don't have hunger from a need to eat. I've not needed to work for money for almost 20 years. I've been a very good steward of the money I've made. I've made 25 million in my company, and my net worth is far higher than that, even after I've paid taxes and lived on money. So, for me, I want to teach people how to make money using this business model and how to invest it properly so that their net worth is growing. So for me, I really get off on seeing others win. I want to see people succeed. Dr. Miles Monroe wrote a book about passing it on, talking about legacy, talking about success turning into significance. And I want to live a significant life. Yes, I've been successful, but I want a lot of success stories. I want people that have had success because I have played a part in it. So that motivates me every day. I love what I do from a stand. Look, I don't like reading, but I read because I like what I get from reading. I don't like making phone calls to prospects, but I still do it because I like what I get from doing that activity. And I don't need to recruit another person, frankly, but I still do it because I still want to be a good leader. And I want my people to see me doing it so that they can actually copy me versus me telling them what I used to do 20 years ago. I'm one of the few top earners in a network marketing company that's still out there in the trenches doing it today like they did when they first started. So I'm doing the same thing today as I used to do 27 years ago because I think my example is important.
Do you think one's brand, personal brand, is more important than just generating traffic? Or do you think that goes hand in hand?
There are people that have made it seem like if you don't have a big personal brand with a big personality and a big influence and following, that you can't make it in network marketing. I don't believe that's true. I think that your brand can be confusing. I think what's most important is being a great person, becoming better. Being a leader. Meaning that you bring people aboard, you organize and create a team culture, and you're putting a culture in place that people can be a part of and feel like they belong, feel like they're cared for, feel like they've got a rock in the river in this crazy world, that somebody they can rely on that's going to be always there for them. Be that person. I don't have a big personality. There's people out there that are always on social media. They got their camera going 24/7. I don't want to live in my phone. I don't want to be recording everything. It's just not who I am. So I don't have the ability, or I should say, I don't have the desire or the personality to go out and be some big social media influencer. I'm a little bit more of an introvert. I'm a private guy. I'm happier messing around with my baseball, football, basketball, Pokemon card collection, or with a fishing rod in my hand, or, hitting golf balls, hanging out with my kids, whatever. I'm happier doing that than to be out there always look at me on social media. So I don't think people need to have a big brand. I think they need to make sure that they are the right kind of leader that would be attractive to others. If you happen to have a big personality and you want to go out there and create a brand, great. That can help. But just be careful to make sure you don't make your team feel like if they are not willing to be a big branded person, that they can't succeed in network marketing, because most of the people that I know and have helped make millions, they didn't have a big personality like that.
Love that answer. And yes, being a dad, there's lots of dads out there that are trying a lot of different things. How do we help some of those dads out there? I don't know. Any popular, going golfing, doing stuff for you is important. Yes, you have family time, you have business, and also you. What is Brian Carruthers doing for himself? What's a hobby? What's something, you said golf and fishing? What's one that you like better?
Well, I don't know. I mean, you can have a bad day at either, but it's never a bad day. Like I can get skunked fishing, but I still had some quiet time with nature, and I'm a man walking in faith in recent years, so I will have conversations in my head with the Spirit. So to me, it's like there's never a bad day fishing. Now, golfing, on the other hand, but it's never a bad day on the golf course. It's better out there, enjoying that than being stuck on a phone. But again, being stuck on a phone, I still do it, even though I don't necessarily enjoy it, because I want to build an empire and help others and all that. But we do need to make sure that we have self-care. We do have to make sure that there's a little bit of balance. There's going to be seasons. There are seasons that I played very little golf and I did very little fishing, and I didn't do a whole lot of that stuff because I was in massive momentum mode. I was working 7 days a week and I was cranking it up so that later I'm ambitiously lazy. I'm willing to work my butt off during a season so that I can have a future season where I can work a lot less and enjoy more. And then the season comes back around again where we got some momentum kicking in and I got people that are needing me, and I play less, and work more. So it's just ebbs and flows. And we have to listen to our bodies. We have to listen to our minds. If we feel like we're in a bad headspace and we're not serving anybody and people are sensing that we're off, then you need to get off the grid for a few days, go, recharge.
A lot of people use social media the wrong way, I think, today. Brian's been saying getting on the phone. Everyone thinks social media is where you're going to get all your deals. You have to build relationships. And it only gets there if you're getting onto a phone call or Zoom call or getting a face-to-face time. That's why a lot of people are failing in this space because they don't build relationships.
Yep.
How can we help in that space and that building relationships? When you call people, it's not, hey, Sean, I have some product or service, Legal Shield to sell to you. No, how do you open conversations up? Maybe we can go down that path.
Well, I mean, there's some cliche stuff that is very relevant and true. I mean, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. That's the easy one to remember. BNI, Business Networking International, has got a great slogan, "Givers Gain." So you go into those networking events with all these other professionals, hoping that they're going to give you referrals. But the mindset you're supposed to go in with is, let me help other business people, and let me help them get some customers. Let me send them some business, and then maybe they'll reciprocate. So, go into every situation adding value to other people's lives. You got to make deposits before you can get a withdrawal. You can't, immediately try to withdraw from a relationship that you don't have yet. So I think it's important. Go out and put in a lot of relationship capital deposits before you start asking for things.
I like that, relationship capital. And it just takes time. It's not going to be something you can change the way you do things now, but you have to keep being consistent, as Brian was saying earlier. I've been saying you got to be persistently consistent. Those days you don't want to do anything, you got to just get up and do it anyway. Get going. Just get moving. Get started. But people, they hide. They make excuses. I'm tired of that. I want to make sure if you're a dad, for example, your kids are looking at you.
Oh, yeah.
You're an example, and you don't want to, oh, dad's a bum today. No, you want to keep yourself in shape. Keep yourself building a business if you're in that space. But you want to make sure
that's one of the reasons that, you were asking me about, me retiring or whatever, but I could afford to retire. And even if I felt like I've already given enough to everybody and I've served enough and it's time for me to just relax, I still can't, because I got a 19 and an 8-year-old and 6 I got 3 boys that are 6, 8, and 19. They need to see dad, because they're going to soak in what they see, not what they're told to go do in the future. So they need to think back on their childhood and remember how dad worked, so that they know how to have work ethic. I learned work ethic watching my parents. They worked their tails off. If I saw my parents when they were, my dad was 39, I think it was, when he sold his real estate company for 8 figures, and that was back in the 70s, and that was back in 81. And so, I was 11 years old. If my dad decided to just not work again because he could have afforded to never work again, from 11 on, I would never have adopted his work ethic and applied it in my life. I wouldn't be successful. So, you're exactly right. Moms and dads, your kids are watching you. Do you want them to look at you as a quitter? They saw you excited about your network marketing business. You were all gung-ho about it, and suddenly you're not talking about it anymore. What seed is that planting in your kids? You're teaching them how to be a quitter. Stop being a quitter. I mean, you're damaging your legacy, your generations behind you, your kids and grandkids. They're going to rise or fall based on what they watched you do. And so I would say, even if you're not money motivated or whatever's holding you back, let that be your motivation to go out there and be a winner.
If people didn't get value from this episode, I don't know, they must have been sleeping. But man, is there any final thoughts, Brian, that you can share? That's whatever's in your head. You want to pitch a new book? You want to talk about those or golf? Anything that we can share some value to end our episode?
I don't need to really pitch books or anything like that. I mean, they can go to briancarruthers.com and then just look over some of the stuff I got. I got a blog on there. I put some thoughts and ideas on there. Yeah, they can look at all the trainings and the books and all that, see if there's something that's for them. Heck, I've got the Empire Builders Vault that gives people access to all the trainings I've ever recorded, about $3,000 worth of programs. They can access it monthly through the Vault program for $49. But if they use Vault 39, that's a discount code, and they'll get it for $39. And if they just want to get in there for 1 month and consume it all and cancel, I don't care. Hopefully they want to stick with it, because I've always put new programs in there, and I do live Zooms every quarter with Q&A where people can directly ask me questions and get coaching and stuff like that. So for $39, I would say, if somebody's not willing to invest $39 to go learn from someone who's helped an organization that he's helped build earn almost $900 million, then they got to, there's a big question there. Like, you're going to go spend $39, going out to eat a crappy meal on Friday night, right? So it's like, so I would say go to that website and check that out and use that if you want to get it. But the final thought I would give everybody is, make a decision. You got to decide if you want to win or not. And if you want to win, don't let anybody or anything distract you. Stay consistent, get urgent, and be focused. That's those focus, urgency, and consistency. Those are the three things. They're the hallmark of anybody who does big things in this business. And so make your kids proud, make your spouse proud, make yourself proud. God made no junk. God expects you to go out there and do things with your life that he gave you. Make him proud. And I'll pray for you. I don't know the names or the people that are ever going to see this podcast, but it's my prayer that the good Lord finds you and speaks to you when I'm not there with you, and just helps you to believe in yourself so that you can accomplish everything that you're setting out to do.
Man, I appreciate Brian coming in today, dropping those golden nuggets, bringing some value. And guys, reach out to him. I'll have all the information in the description. Take a look at his website, have a call, get coached by him. Keep your eyes and ears open to new opportunity, and learn. No matter how old you are. You can always pick up a new skill, improve your life. And as always, guys, I want to thank Brian again. I'm here to help, motivate, and inspire. We hope you have an amazing rest of your day.
Awesome. Good seeing you, John.
Likewise, Brian, stick around one moment.